Welcome to episode 165 of the Forestallover podcast. Matt, you always ask for an intro. So if you want an intro, I'll give you an intro. We just beat Liverpool at Anfield for the first time since 1969. We're talking about the moon landing here. You have to go back to Collymore, Keane, Clough to remind yourself what this is and what this means to our Nottingham Forest. Real in the years, Matt, and wake the sleeping giant because big time Forest are back with a bang, and there's nothing Liverpool, Derby, Man United, or Leicester can do about stopping us climbing back up into the European places where we belong. You ready for me to hit the music?
Always.
Bang.
Action this week.
We're going to Forest all over the world. Okay, and we have Ross in Texas. Ross was out on, I think it was in Lake Austin or something. He was out in one of the lakes in Texas doing his big wakeboarding thing, kissing the forest crest. Ross out in Texas. Class, isn't it?
Absolutely class. Sorry, I didn't want to talk over the music. Keep going. It's all class, mate. It's all class.
Okay, we have Ohio Trickies. They were out in combustion, singing along, loving the fact that we just beat Liverpool. Massive shout out to them. Homer from Ohio Trickies going to come on here very, very soon. So give a shout out to him.
Homer, can't wait to see you on the pod, mate. Can keep the Oklahoman Forest fans singing.
He's not in Oklahoma, he's in Ohio. Oklahoma's someone different.
Yeah.
You've already messed. It's a glorious day and you're messing things up. We'll move on to, and we'll finish with Dubai Trickies. Chris Walsh, Dubai Trickies. They had about 30 of them out there. It was an absolute scenes out in Dubai. They've grown from strength to strength and it was a big day for them. So give a shout out to Chris Walsh and Dubai Trickies.
Yes, Chris, keeping up the magic out in Dubai.
And I've just turned the music off because in reality, Matt, I don't know how to fade it out. So we'll just leave it there. Toronto Trickies, my love for them will always be very great. I absolutely love them. Big shout out to them. They had a massive celebration as well. Chief was in Chicago, absolutely loving it, playing the Champions League music over and over again in his car as he was driving because we were in fourth when we just beaten Liverpool. It's been an absolutely unbelievable weekend, Matt.
And just because there are people that haven't got in touch with you, you got to remember all the people that have been on the show from Hawaii, China, different parts of the world. Think what they would have been, all the Australian located fans. Just think what that must have been like for them yesterday with us beating Liverpool. That's how fun this weekend's result was for everyone.
Yeah,
fans all over the world just sharing that amazing, a bit of a wry smile, a bit of a yeah.
Well, also, there was some people like me in the living room just sat down trying to watch it on my laptop in Ireland. And then there was other people like literally going to different fan groups, like down in Australia, etc. So, and this is what it's been all about. I mean, a lot of these groups have been meeting up for years and years and years, watching Forest lose 12 games in a row or whatever it was, not winning 12 games in a row in the championship under Houghton. Now we have this. It's just absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah, but at the same time, we don't want to this is it is unbelievable. But the fans in the stadium singing just on the highlights. I know we always gone on about our fans, but it was rousing to say the least to hear them singing 1-0 to the famous team as loud as they can through Anfield. I was just like, that's brilliant. Anfield fans literally leaving the stadium.
I know, and I saw Liverpool fans leaving the stadium then, and I thought, geez, they could still get back in this. I'll tell you what, it's 6:30 in the morning, and I'll tell you something about Matt. Matt kind of went missing for the weekend. I don't know if that was because I predicted us winning this weekend, and he didn't want to deal with the hassle of it. But Matt was down at a stag, had no signal on his phone, obviously drinking and having fun, but he went missing for the weekend. I was actually genuinely worried about you. I sent you a text.
Onto my WhatsApp. Tried tuning into Forest from some dodgy stream, even to listen to, even on the watch-alongs on YouTube, and I couldn't connect with the real world, sadly. But I followed it enough to see the Callum Hudson-Odoi goal. I did get that moment and managed to, and that was it. And that's to wait and hope. And then I saw the result later. That's where I was in the world, but I still managed to catch that moment, which was incredible.
Well, when Forest beat Liverpool at Anfield for the first time in 55 years, and I'm messaging you. I haven't heard from you since Friday night, and me and Statsman Will are going, is he okay? And then the next morning, on the Sunday, I genuinely was really worried. So luckily your partner got on to me and told me you were okay. But look, neither here nor there. I think what's really important here is, and this is probably the most important part of the podcast, Matt. By the way, everyone like and subscribe if you can right now. It really helps if you like and subscribe. Thank you. At the start of the season, my big scalp red hot take for the season was that we'd beat Liverpool at Anfield. And you didn't believe me, Matt. You didn't believe me. Okay.
Listen, this has ruined what was a beautiful thing for so many of us, including me. You say, why aren't you smiling, mind you this? You, Chris, have gotten one prediction right about today. And yeah, it's fantastic. And all right, you called it. And to be fair, I heard on 606 and on TalkSport, people like Chris Sutton, people like Jamie O'Hara, all saying to Forest fans that called in, yeah, but no one would have called this. And I was like, God, if I wasn't stuck out of not at home, I'd have called up and sent in the clip of you calling it, but only for national radio purposes. For me and you, and for many of our listeners, you've ruined this because you've managed to gloat and take so much pride in getting one prediction right. Let's remember everything. I mean, well done.
Finally, no, hang on.
Got something
no. I'm not going to let you do this. I'm sorry. I'm not going to let you do this, right? I'm not saying that I'm the
truth.
No, I'm not saying that I'm the almighty Wizard of Oz and I just have a magic stick that predicts things like Ten Hag's Harry Potter. But what I can say is that it was one of my big predictions at the beginning of the season before a ball was kicked, right? And listen, if you had an accumulator or in fantasy football, I may have hedged my bets and done different things thinking, well, obviously it's more likely that Liverpool win. But overall, I stuck by it. So roll that tape, Matt. Roll that clip. You ready for my scalp?
Yeah, go on. You're going to get League Cup 7-0 against someone.
We beat Liverpool at Anfield.
Brilliant.
You've called it that we win at Anfield this year.
Yeah, stand by that.
You stand by it?
Yeah, I stand by that, yeah. So none of the results that they've already had make any difference to me whatsoever. I stand by that. We're beating Liverpool at Anfield. And there you are. There's me telling you at the beginning of the season we beat Liverpool, and then you trying to absolutely do me over last week. And I'll tell you what, I wouldn't be as insufferable if you hadn't tried to do me over in the last episode. Oh, do you stand by it, Chris? Yeah, stood by it all the way. Now we've kept a clean sheet. Have that and hold it. Hold it.
Tell me to eat it.
Eat it. No,
I'll eat that. I'll eat it. I mean, I'm still eating it and I'm tasting it.
Well, look, we may as well scrap the blame game because
I was thinking before we play, I was like, oh, we're going to have a bit of blame game if we lose. Like, who's going to concede, even though it would have been harsh? And then I thought, God, when it's 1-0, are they going to get an equaliser in the last minute? Is Darwin Núñez going to get a heartbreaking last minute, and luckily he didn't. I was preparing for that. I was thinking at least we'll have some blame games to play, but no, I don't know what we do. Shame game for every Liverpool fan that walked away because of their arrogance and thinking that they can't lose to Forest. Arne Slot, even though it was such a backhanded compliment.
Yeah, so we could dig at the other team if you want.
Yeah, no need. I remember coming on last time when we were annoyed about the way it ended at home last year, seeing all the online Liverpool fans in Australia like going, "What is this team, mate? What is this team? Why are they moaning? We won." It's like, come on, mate. I'm saying that.
Well, I'll tell you what, they've woken up the wrong side of the bed in the wrong time zone down in Australia, right? Because there's Forest fans going nuts down there. Give a big shout out to Mark from Australia. Look, I have a decent enough accent that actually you could have been in one of the Mad Max films, the old school.
You mate. Sorry, I'm probably offending many people right now. I don't mean it.
Well, that's fine. Listen, let's we're allowed to laugh at Liverpool fans in Australia, Matt.
Definitely. I think they took a lot of glee in laughing at us fans at Forest in Nottingham only a few months ago. So yeah.
Well, and look, here's. I'm not going to go on and on. Actually, I am going to go on and on and on about how I predicted it, right? Because the reason why I predicted it was because I put a poll up actually just before the game saying, "Do Liverpool find it difficult to play against Nottingham Forest?" And I attached my clip about me talking about the reasons why. But there was 5 games prior to this. Liverpool only washed us out one of the games. The other games we were in all of them. The way in which we set up against them, they find it hard to break teams who do that down. We are one of those teams that did that. Leeds did it a couple of years ago. I think Palace did it one year. If you set up a certain way and you stick discipline, it can happen. I want to talk about some of the individual performances. I know this isn't really your style, Matt, because that's what you always say to me.
It really is. I don't always say it. I said it once last week because I couldn't be bothered to name my team. It's like
we say it all the time.
Dominguez getting in the lineup made me very happy.
Okay, well, let's talk a little bit about some of the individual performances, just to go over them a little bit, so I can paint a bit of a picture, because obviously you caught the goal.
Go on, paint the picture. I'm leaning back.
You don't want me to just start painting the picture? You don't want me to talk about it? You want me to just start painting the picture? Is that right?
Paint the picture. Yeah, that's right.
Okay, all right. Still as rude as ever.
I'll set my alarm.
Okay, shut your mouth. You should sit there and say absolutely nothing today. You deserve nothing from me today after you trying to call me out last week. And then
how amazing you are at predicting things. You're absolutely right.
Shut up. Right. Can we just enjoy this, please?
I am enjoying
You should be enjoying this. We're together and we just beat Liverpool. We're in the top 6, like 7, whatever it is now. We were 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, whatever. We're somewhere up there. Anyway. I think performances. I just have a list of a few things here, because I rewatched the game yesterday actually for a second time, just to really get my bearings. Okay, so I think we're going to start with Milenkovic and Murillo. Milenkovic won the ball high that started the move for our goal. Shoved Nunes off it, won it back, and then that started the move. He was brilliant yesterday, terroring, clearing every ball. Murillo, unbelievable. Late block from Szoboszlai that bounced underneath his legs, just went wide. Aina and Moreno. I mean, Aina had Diaz on top. Like, he literally just completely controlled Diaz that first half. Moreno with Salah, he got a yellow card and he managed it so well. He was brilliant. One of the men of the match players of the match. It was just unbelievable. And then, I have Ryan Yates here. His battling in midfield was unbelievable. I thought without Sangare we would struggle, because obviously Sangare's had a pretty good season so far. I think Yates comes in and McAllister goes off on 60 minutes. Now, a Liverpool fan has told me that was because he was slightly injured, but Yates comes in and just absolutely destroys the midfield. James Ward-Prowse quietly going about his business. Williams coming off the bench with Salah and tackling Salah, then charging in the left-hand side at the end of the game. There's so many individual performances to talk about. I think the real thing I want to chat to you about, though, which made the big difference, is the substitutes. Slot substitutes didn't work at all. In fact, they made Liverpool worse. They switched into sort of a back three. I think at one point Bradley came on for McAllister and then went back there. Trent went into the middle. They did that thing that Liverpool always do, and it just didn't work. Whereas Nuno's substitutes all made an impact. Hudson-Odoi came on for Dominguez in 55 minutes. He stretched them. Nuno saw the opportunity to win the game and he went for it. Elanga then came on and stretched them as well. The goal itself, Elanga's pass is unbelievable. It's between two players around him. It reminded me of the ball, except a little less narrow, the one he gave to Chris Wood, which was more central and less narrow and less across the pitch against Newcastle. It reminded me of that, but Hudson-Odoi still had a load to do. And Bradley was just done by him all the rest of the afternoon when they were both on the pitch. He couldn't get back. It's just off the post. I don't know what to say other than it all comes down to Nuno. His strategy.
It felt like his day, didn't it? Him and Callum and everyone, but it really felt like Nuno's day.
It really was. I'm going to turn this light down a touch. It really was his day. And here's one of the best examples that you're going to love, actually, because you probably didn't get too much of a chance to see this, right? Jota Silva came off the bench on 81 minutes, right? I thought, he's bringing Jota Silva on, okay, like, what's he going to do? Scrap around, run for the ball? Even though Silva had a pretty good game there last week, or a couple of weeks ago against Newcastle. I thought, okay, fair enough. Brought him off the bench. It's one of the best substitute performances I've seen. I mean that. I know it sounds ridiculous and heightened, but I'll tell you the reasons why, right? There was about 3 key moments that I remember specifically from that, okay? From Jota Silva. One, he rose high to win a header over Virgil van Dijk and lay an opportunity on for a potential second goal, which Elanga struck reasonably well, all right? Like, he beat Van Dijk in the air for a header and creates a chance. 2, he skinned Gravenberch early on and got him a yellow card, winning a free kick in a dangerous position. 3, Liverpool broke from the back in the 89th minute, and Jota Silva tracked Tsimikas' run. Tsimikas was fresh as well, just off the bench. Another substitute that didn't work for Arne Slot. Got the ball and won a free kick. There was also a couple of times where he won key throw-ins in key areas. He was only on for 10, 15 minutes. That's because Nuno believed in the game plan. He set up really well. Obviously, first half we were pinned in, but second half, Nuno made the right choices. In-game management was unbelievable. He deserves all the credit for getting that result. That's down to Nuno. We give out to him when he messes up. We have to give him credit, Matt. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Tremendous day for him, and it just must feel it's just sorry, got a cough. So well deserved, and I loved his reaction to the goal. The amount of emotion that he controlled, dignified, and introverted man as he is, and it just comes out of the machine. That's what football does to us all, and it was great to see him go to his mates. It's great.
I know. Just hold it, stop. Like really,
but then forehead to forehead with his colleagues.
Unbelievable. I mean, look, obviously,
love him. He's a great guy.
He is a great guy, and obviously, you've had a whirlwind weekend, right? But like when you saw the results,
2 weeks time.
For me,
I'm not sure about Nuno. What do you think? Should he be sacked?
Who said this?
No, I'm saying he's a great guy. In 2 weeks' time, it'll be God. Should he?
I don't. I think he's bought some time. All right. Yeah. The most significant thing about the weekend, obviously you saw the result in a different way to I did. I watched the game. You were absolutely away with the fairies. But the most significant thing about the game is, we're 4 games in, 6 teams are without a win already. If you look at the table, it's Wolves, Ipswich, Southampton, Leicester, Palace. Can't remember the Everton. So all these teams haven't even won a game. Forest are sitting here, 2 clean sheets away from home, 1 at Anfield, 2 away wins, a couple of draws at home, which we probably could have won both, right? So we're looking incredibly, incredibly pretty at the moment.
I think we could beat Brighton as well.
Well, I mean, look, listen, we'll talk a little bit about Brighton at the back end of this podcast. Obviously, I'm going to do a Brighton preview with some Forest all over the world fans. We have a couple of 2 or 3
a bit of a vague thing. What I mean is, I feel like we're going to beat Brighton as well, rather than I think of course we could. I really believe we will. Do you know what I mean? Well, I think this strong start's going to continue for a while, and then of course there's going to be some issues going down the line. But I think we're going to ride it. I think we're going to keep up there for a few weeks.
What you said to me on the last episode. Well, actually, the one when I was in Croatia, the one during the international break, one of the things you said to me was, look, I don't know if this start deserves a toast just yet because we'd drawn 2 and 1-1. And I said, well, we were undefeated. And you said, well, hang on. The one caveat you did give me was, you said, if we go and get anything from Liverpool and Brighton, then obviously the start is fantastic. We've now gone and beaten Liverpool. It's phenomenal now, right?
But it was the conviction in which it wasn't a snatch and grab. It's above and beyond what I could have imagined.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, like when you rewatch the game, and obviously you probably rewatched it and watched some of the highlights and whatever. But when you rewatch it, you see that it was the game plan for me. Like first half, I genuinely thought they were knocking on the door long enough that they would eventually get a goal. Liverpool, they hit the post from a mistake on our end, but we limited them to crosses, right? Like we limited them to small chances that they just didn't really put away. I think Van Dijk had a missed header and Jota didn't head it. He went with his leg and it was just, Sal's nearly made a big mistake first half. Second half, Nuno just goes, actually, hang on, this is it. This is Muhammad Ali stuff. I sit back, we get punched and punched and punched, and then we attack. We hit them with a right hook. We hit them with a cross. We punched them in the gut. And we did that. And this is why I said to you, and I'm going to keep reminding you that I predicted this because I thought that we could do it. It wasn't like I'm sorry. I know you're hating it right now, Matt. I know you're hating it.
Not just me, Chris. Not just me.
Well, everyone's loving it. I can promise you that because we just took a win at Anfield and you were the one that went after me for saying that we could do it. But look.
You have a fine way of ruining wonderful things. Isn't that amazing?
Well, you could just enjoy it. You could just say, Chris.
We're enjoying it.
You were right. Just say you were right.
I said you were right for this once. Well done.
Which makes you... For this once, don't add a layer onto it. Don't throw a double barrel to it.
Let's move on from you and I for a second, because we know how Brighton play, right? Whereas I don't think people are going to be able to read how we set up for Liverpool. I think we can set up for Brighton. Although he said he wasn't going to do that, didn't he? He's like, we need to just decide how we play and play that way. But we definitely did set up for Liverpool, and it worked.
Well, to be honest, a lot of us, I was semi-predicting potentially a back five, 3 at the back with 2 wing backs. He didn't do that.
You don't even dare claim anything you got right. Well, I was saying. Well, a lot of us were saying that.
You mean don't dare claim anything I got wrong? Is that what you're saying?
I don't want to get done for bullying.
What? Look, I can't believe you're still coming on here at 6. Excuse the bourbon. 30 in the morning, just still not able to give me any sort of credit. I just after we've just done what we've done. Look,
you give yourself so much credit. It's very difficult for anyone else to give you any credit, especially.
All right, I'm going to mute you in a second. All right, you need to just anyway.
That's the level of control he has over my speech.
I don't have any control over you. Right, we're moving on. Right. I'm just glad you're not eating. It's not dinner time, which is what usually happens on this podcast. I think that in general, we're all pretty astonished by the weekend. Even if I did predict we could potentially win this game,
Chris, it is amazing you called it, but it's just funny. The first thing I thought was, I can't believe Chris called this in the state that I was in as well. I still managed to connect with that thought. I was like, God, Chris called this. Really annoying.
In the back of your mind, you're not thinking this is history. This is one of the greatest.
Me up, that's for sure.
Right. Look, I think the most important thing to take away from this all really is, and we keep saying this every time we hit a landmark, the amount of scalps and wins Forest have had just in the last 2-ish years, 3 years is unbelievable. People are posting things online saying, where were we 3 years ago? Today we're bottom of the championship table. We're now going to Anfield and beating them and climbing above Man United and Chelsea and Spurs on the table. It's just unbelievable. And I think there was so many people online who were down at the game as well. And Dave Sanders, Wicklow from Red Side of the Trent, Mikey Clark and Greg, and all these people posting stuff. And it was just really, really, really special day. But it is
just wonderful to be there. Yeah.
Yeah, no. Well, I'm going to Stamford Bridge in a few weeks, so I'm hopefully.
You managed to get your tickets?
Yeah, I managed to get sorted. Yeah, so I've
all 4?
2, just 2, but 2. Listen, I'm not the one who's going to be missing out. It could be 1. I'll be going. The others will have to miss out. So
yeah.
We're going over to London to visit some of Karina's Canadian friends. And
thanks for offering me one. It was really kind.
Well, look, hopefully they don't listen to this, but don't rule yourself out, if you get what I mean. Wink, wink. Right?
No, I'm kidding. I don't think I'm free.
Yeah. No, I'm joking too. We'll talk after.
Yeah.
No, but on a serious note, these away days are now turning into something brilliant. After we haven't really been able to do anything away for a long time. I think we've won 4 away games in a row now, technically, because obviously we beat Sheffield United, Burnley, now Southampton and Liverpool. So we've won 4 away games in a row in the Premier League. It's just, I don't know, the whole thing's remarkable. Brighton at the weekend is going to be an interesting game. We're going to go in excited. I'm not going to feel any pressure at all, because we just, apparently we don't feel pressure away from home. We'll do a pre-match on that with some Forest All Over the World fans, as I've said, but the whole thing is just, I kind of have to pinch myself. I'm going into work today, and there was a Liverpool fan last week who every single day was knocking on the window of my office door going, "Hey, you ready for this weekend? You ready for this weekend?" And every day I said, I wouldn't be too confident. I wouldn't be too confident, Mr. Liverpool fan. And he goes, "Oh yeah, we're going to absolutely smash you." And I said, "Okay, all right, we'll see." In my head, I'm thinking there's a possibility that they really do beat us well, but I've predicted we're going to win from the start of the season. I'm going to stand by it. Even in work, I'm going to stand by it. And this jersey that I'm wearing, or this top that I'm wearing, I'm going to bring into work today. And I'm going to walk into the workshop. I'm going to walk into the workshop. I'm going to wear it. I'm going to say, "How's good old Lawrence doing today, everybody?"
I think you just walk in and do one of those double takes, like you walked in a big Mr. Blobby outfit, and just like, what are you looking at? And get on with your day. What are you staring at, Lawrence?
Well, listen, as you know.
Oh, this.
As you probably know.
I must have been sleeping in it all weekend.
Yeah. As you probably know, I can't be as subtle as you with your hats, Matt. I have to go all in, right? That's just the way I am.
What, these subtle hats that I wear?
Yeah, well, they're not that subtle. That's the point. That's why I said it.
Hmm.
Anyway,
no, I know you did.
Look, yeah, I know.
I liked your irony. I was going with you, and then you forgot that I was also still continuing.
I never forget that you're being ironic. I'm just jumping over you. That's all I'm doing. I'm not saying anything else. What else is there to sort of say about the weekend other than it's remarkable? Just like clear it up for me, because I've spoke about the individual performance and how we set up and how we played.
Dominguez, I think, is a talking point. It's just great management, and he's not being. These players aren't being picked to look after their egos, but it's just amazing. I'm just so thrilled that he got picked to the starting 11. I'm glad that Elanga and Callum Hudson-Odoi weren't angry. Just off the back of all that, did you put Salah in your fantasy side?
No, I didn't.
Good.
And I didn't. I actually had Trent in there.
I forgot to do fantasy, of course.
Yeah, well,
therefore my Forest fantasy 11 has continued over as well, and that's really screwed me.
Well, we'll talk about that in a second.
I got the -5 because there's no Sosa.
Well, no, we'll talk about your Forest Fantasy 5 team that you created and then this week forgot to even enter your own team. We'll talk about that in a second, you idiot. But as far as FPL goes, I had a chance at 3 transfers to bring in 3 Liverpool players, which is what most people did. I didn't do that. I had Trent in, but I didn't bring Diaz or Jota or Salah in, and I could have done it, and I just didn't, because I was like, right, if you're going to stick by your convictions on this podcast, you may as well go down the line there. But also, Matt Davies actually convinced me not to bring Diaz in. I was very happy he did that, because it didn't work out for Diaz at all. Yeah, look, I just think it's a historic victory. It's wizardry, it's history, it's victory, it's all the E's. It's unbelievable. The game plan was just brilliant from Nuno, and moving forward, we can see how we're playing. To be fair, there was shades of this last year, wasn't there, Matt? Like, we were seeing that Nuno was doing something, and it just wasn't working. We were getting unlucky. We were getting undone by 99th minute Nunes goals, and things that were really, it felt unfair. Refereeing decisions. Bournemouth scoring late against his first game, and when we actually played really well, and Nuno would just come in. But like, you could see that this is working. He has built this, and the preseason has really helped us, hasn't it?
I get him. Well, the fact that Nuno was there, yeah.
No, but the fact that we've had a proper full preseason with this manager, like, obviously,
and with the squad, I guess, yeah, the business was done early. The manager was there, yeah. No, I see what you're saying. I'll just make it.
Business was done early, and the business was has worked an absolute treat, right? Like, some of these transfers, even the benchers, like Jota Silva coming off the bench and doing as well as he did, it looks fantastic. The preseason has really helped us, and it was a good preseason. And I remember Chelsea had a really good preseason last year, and then their season was terrible. Whereas, you look at Forest, we had an unbelievable preseason, and it's carried over. It's a good dress rehearsal for a great show, right?
It was a brilliant dress rehearsal for a wonderful show. I have concerns about Taiwo Awoniyi for some reason. I hope he gets to revitalise his Forest career desperately. I'm worried about him. But all in all, great day at the office. What about... What did I just say?
You were talking about Taiwo and how
Taiwo was a side note. I wanted to get it in, which I had another point. It escaped me.
Okay.
It's escaped me, but yeah. What a day! What a special day! And let it not be a flash in the pan. It wasn't a snatch and grab. It feels like a big turning point. Expectation is going to rise. We need to be prepared to handle it when we ever wobble as a fan base. But I'd like to continue this wave. I'd like to stay on this high, so to speak. And
yeah, okay.
Brighton.
Will I come in there? You're struggling for words. Look at the stadium. You've had a rough weekend, Matt. I just can't believe you've missed this historic weekend to happen in Time Live. Well, you caught the goal, but you know what I mean. I can't believe you've missed it in general. It's very, very funny. It's typical of you, but
classic.
Yeah, look, I think the expectation will rise. I think we do have to. That's a really good point. Is like, when we have a wobble, fan base go a bit off on one, like, sometimes, and like even I do. So when we have a bit of a wobble, or we lose a couple of games in a row, or whatever happens, we need to just remember, okay, hang on, there is a plan in place. It has been working for most of the season so far. Let's not go completely mad. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely. I mean, context will be everything. We'll see how we go, but it's exciting times.
Yeah. It is exciting.
That's what I was going to ask. Did you hear Jamie Carragher putting us after the result as third team to get relegated? Didn't say anything about the game. Just went, yeah, well, they've been flirting with it for like
past 2 seasons. So one time the trapdoor's going to open of Nottingham Forest are going to fall. So I was like, mate, you're hilarious. Yeah.
All right. Well, you be him and I'll be me. Just a fan ringing in. Okay.
Hi, Chris. How you doing? Love the podcast, mate.
Thanks a million, Jamie. I know you don't listen to it and you're just saying that, but I really do appreciate it.
You're really good at predicting things, mate.
Can I do it without the accent? I'm knackered already.
Just get on with it and keep doing it. It's fine. A quick question, Jamie, for you.
At least the Australian listeners will be less offended now.
just a quick question for you, Jamie. I watched you watch us completely school Liverpool at Anfield, particularly that second half, and then afterwards predict that we were going to get relegated. What makes you think that this team that's currently undefeated, unlike Liverpool, will get relegated?
Your players dived. Ryan Yates dived. You know, that's all right. You beat Liverpool, but we weren't doing the best, and you bought us off the ref. Yeah. You dived.
Jamie, I'll probably stop this
accent. I can probably think of more things to say.
Do it without the accent, okay? Jamie, you're talking about Ryan Yates there. That's the kind of metal and steel that I remember you talking about when you were playing back in central defence, getting done over by many strikers. I just want to talk to you about the reason why you think we're going to get relegated. I mean, is that real? Is that something that Matt, my co-host, just kind of made up or misheard? Or do you actually believe that could happen?
I just think once the season is complete and all has been played, Nottingham Forest will go down. You've been playing with it for 2 years. You've got away with it lightly last year. Your owner's is kicking off every time things don't go his way. There's a lot of bad noise coming out of Nottingham Forest.
And the noise is beautiful. The noise is booming. You've absolutely no clue what you're doing or what you're talking about. Just because Klopp has left and now you're stranded with a new manager who has been handed his first defeat rather embarrassingly, walking back with his tail between his legs, doesn't mean you can have a go at us. We still have 2 stars above our chest. We won the European Cup back-to-back just like you did. We're back. We're sleeping giants, and we have been awoken. Back down, back off, and piss off.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's no problem.
That's what I'd love you to say to him. He needs a bit of that.
I probably wouldn't say
that. That is normally
Jamie,
what
Jamie, no problem. No worries. Yeah, no, I get it. It's okay. Well, I disagree respectfully. That's probably what I would do. But anyway, look.
I would, that would have been a great opener, but sadly, folks, we're on StreamYard for Chris this morning, so I can't edit that one in, but that would have been a great opener.
Yeah, well, listen, I just did the intro earlier anyway. There's nothing we can do about that, Matt. It's early morning. We have to give the listeners and viewers what they want. Like and subscribe again, everyone, please. I know Matt hates when I say that. But look, it's been a crazy weekend. We are going to do a proper pre-Brighton thing. But let's me and you have a little discussion about the Brighton game. I know you've mentioned it in passing earlier. Let's have a discussion about how Brighton are doing and have a little chat about it. And then we'll do a proper pre-match with Forest All Over the World fans there.
I'm getting the train to work. I've got to have a shower in 5 minutes. So we've got to wrap up.
Great. Well, that's great, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks so much for to Matt for. Well, listen, thanks for joining us, Matt. Like, you know, you weren't here at the weekend. You were half drunk on the last podcast, calling me out for no reason. Now you're back telling me you've got to rush off to work. That's life, everybody, I suppose. That's the way it goes.
I don't know how that last pod went down. I remember thinking that was a silly choice. I was all over the place.
You were fine.
Still am a bit, but we'll be back next week with normal, concise, loud and aggressive chats. Brighton, mate, I've said what I said. I think I want us to go and win there. Are you going to do an international preview?
Yeah, we'll do. I think we're going to have a couple of people on. I'm going to try and get Homer on from Ohio. I think we spoke to him. It all depends on time zones. Obviously, everyone's in such a different time zone that doing it is really difficult to organize. Matt's sneezing again. So
yeah. You're saying about time zones like you're doing the Forest All Over the World podcast. It's probably one of the fundamental things you need to be able to handle and manage. Sorry.
Yeah, and I have managed it.
Sorry,
for 4 years, and I've managed it really well I've managed it for 4 years, Matt. You don't need to go at me. I've been doing this for 4 years.
I'm just laughing when you're telling us. The thing
We've both been managing it for 4. Well,
the thing is, the time zones. It's yeah, I know.
Yeah, but it's a difficult thing. I'm just reminding everyone that it's a difficult thing to manage because you have someone in Texas and then you have another one down. It's another person.
Yeah,
down
good point. Good point.
Whatever. Anyway, look, you won't give me any credit. I predicted the win.
Loads of credit.
Well, you should listen. Unbelievable. Look, I think.
Imagine if it's because of your prediction that we actually won at Liverpool. We all owe you so much credit.
Okay, Matt, stop there. Some of the things I'd like to talk about before we finish is the Ryan Yates Liverpool hate brigade online. Liverpool fans absolutely hating how he went in there and completely took them apart. Like it's just unbelievable stuff, isn't it, Matt? Like watching Ryan Yates go into Anfield and just like they're bamboozled by how he managed to deal with Liverpool's sort of semi-fresh new look midfield. It's not new look this season, but from a year ago it was new look. So they're still kind of getting together, and Ryan Yates just goes in there and completely bamboozles them. Sangari's out for a little while actually, so Yates is going to be really important. Yeah.
We haven't even talked about Ward Prowse much either, and that's just.
Well, we'll close on Ward Prowse.
Midfield we've gone from like Brazilians and is the Ivory Coast Sangare?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, like AFCON players, Brazilians, to just Anderson, James Ward-Prowse, Ryan Yates. They look like brothers.
Just three
the Nottingham Forest
triplets. All with sort of lighty blondish hair. No, it's very funny. Do you know what the amazing thing is about it is James Ward-Prowse's set pieces, he did all right with them, but they didn't really work yesterday or day before yesterday. But the key thing about it is, Matt, he was brilliant in the midfield. There's some stats going around about his passing, his duels, his comfort on the ball. There's no stat about comfort of the ball, but he was unbelievable. And
sounds like the sort of stat would be in the game if I had invented football and was the star player. Comfort on the ball.
it definitely would be. I mean, you wouldn't even invent stats.
Sounds like lying in bed, leaning on a football as a pillow.
You didn't like, how would you even invent stats? Because you didn't even enter your own football team to your own game, the Fantasy Fives game, but the team rolls because obviously that's how we have to play it. But you didn't even enter it. I was really worried.
I thought I'm going to accidentally get some good points because I've got Callum Hudson-Odoi as my captain, but of course he came on as a sub.
Yeah, so it doesn't count in our game, in our fantasy game.
You didn't put him on as a sub, did you?
I don't remember. I just got everyone's team like I was asked to every week, sent my team in, and then you went absolutely white noise silent. So that's all I know.
I'll update it all. Any new players or all the same?
We'll figure that out off air. We've got to go. Both of us have to go to work.
I'm just doing a bit more advertising for it because you keep putting it down and people keep showing an interest.
I'm not putting it down. I'm just if you're not going to even enter your own team for your own game that you created on game week 4, what's the point?
I didn't do my FPL team either.
I don't care.
I'm not interested.
No, you're just not interesting because you keep messing up. Anyway, look, it's fine. Listen. Let's take a step back.
We don't need to argue.
We don't need to argue.
Sorry.
Okay, no, just we don't need to argue.
Australian, Liverpool, and Irish accents are all awry this week.
And that's why Matt's getting no auditions lately, ladies and gentlemen. I'm joking.
Christ. 2 years. 2 years. But I sacked my agent, didn't I? No.
Right. We don't need to talk about that on air. This is crazy.
Jesus. Well, you brought it up.
Follow us.
Back the veil, Chris.
Follow us at forestallover on Instagram. Like and subscribe this at forestallover on YouTube. If you're listening, please rate us on Spotify, Apple, everywhere. This is the Forestallover podcast. I would say go to forestallovertheworld.com, but I haven't updated the website in a while, so I'll have to get back on and do that lately. That's it. We beat Liverpool at Anfield. We start with beating Liverpool at Anfield. We close with beating Liverpool at Anfield, and we close with me being right about it. We'll see you for a preview for Brighton, where we probably will win, by the way our away form is going. Matt, do you want to sound out?